Hi YouTube. So I'm going to make I'm making another video, a part 2, because when I made part 1, Drew wasn't home, and I had said in my video, I don't have a lot of knowledge or information to share on this. And then over dinner tonight, we were talking about it more, and Drew does have a lot of knowledge, and there's a lot of stuff that I should have said or wish I would have thought to remember to have said, or things that he was saying over our dinner conversation that was like, oh, you should say that in a video. So I want to put more information out there. So we're going to talk about a few things. First, I'm going to kind of just let Drew talk about his experience with top surgery, because I know a lot of people on the channel, their partner hasn't had surgery yet, so I thought that might be helpful for him to share a little bit about his experience. So get in the video more.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Oh,
go.
I'm not more in. There we go. Okay, so do you want me to talk about like motivating factors to get top surgery to begin with?
And like your experience at the doctor and who you went to and what you did and how it made you feel.
How it made me feel?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, I guess I first wanted to say that I was motivated to get top surgery because, let's go with 2 reasons. The first is that I really always kind of fantasize about having a masculine chest, like the chest I would see, like, I don't know, on guys. So when I go to the gym, like, I always hope that my, like, chest, by doing, like, chest presses and whatever else, that my chest was magically going to be like that, and of course it was not going to. And I guess the other fact is, once I came out as trans, having to bind, at least 8 hours a day for, going out, into the world purposes, like, it was just not going to work for me. So, I really just didn't want to bind anymore.
It's really uncomfortable.
Yes.
And you weren't that big even.
No, I was not that big. It doesn't have to do with bigness. It has to do with pressure. And I don't do very well with being uncomfortable. So, like, corset across, like, my body and across my rib cage isn't ideal. It was actually really painful. So
you went to Dr.
Oh, I went to Dr. Medali in Cleveland, Ohio, and
which Gabe and Nikki also talked about.
Yes, he is an excellent surgeon, and he's very, I don't know, he's just a nice guy. He just, like, this is what you want. Okay, I respect that. He did want a therapist letter, which was fine because I was going to a counselor at that time. Yeah. And
talk about maybe your complications and how it looked really bad at first. I saw the pictures, like, it looked really bad, but it looks really great now.
Sure. I had a hematoma on the left side caused by, like, a sharp raise in blood pressure, which was due to vomiting for several hours after my surgery because I'm allergic to anesthesia. Every single surgery I've had in my life, this was only number 3. I've had the same reaction, and even telling the surgeon prior to, they said they were going to do something about it, and they didn't. Anyways, it caused, like, enormous amount of swelling because the blood vessels burst, and, like, so, yeah. So it looked really gross, and then the drain fell out, so then all of that extra blood couldn't drain. Anyways, it left, like, a residual swelling that still kind of looked like there was still a breast there, almost, like a very small one. And, yeah, so then I had a revision, and now I like it.
So basically, the moral of the story is all those horrible pictures and stories that you hear about surgeries and how bad they are, he's one of them, and he got through it, and now his chest looks really great, and you can see the picture in my part 1 video, which kind of leads us to one of the other topics that we wanted to talk about.
Which one's that?
About, like, how there's stigma on surgeries.
Oh.
Like, people see bad pictures, and then they have, this is horrible, when that's not the end result. It's just part of the healing process, right?
Yes. Okay. Which are specifically talking about lower surgery.
Well, yeah, we wanted to talk about that. That's kind of similar because I was in top surgery, but you wanted to talk about that in response to lower surgery stigma.
Oh, lower surgery stigma. I think that due to the fact that there aren't that many pictures of lower surgery out there, period, I think there's a lot of I just think there's a lot of stigma wrapped around wanting to get surgery. I think there's this assumption that trans men find them unappealing, which that may not be, or it may be because of the lack of healed post-op pictures.
Yeah.
there's a lot of like blood and gore pictures, which there are those for top surgery too, but a lot of guys are really like, oh, look at my chest, so they post the post-op recovered, a year out, 6 months out picture, which don't look gross. Which, if you want to see some gross pictures, like I've got some good top ones.
But like as far as like bottom surgery options, do you want to just talk about that as far as like how like people that have had them that have been functional, or like whatever
Sure.
that means?
And I guess definition of functional, like
Yeah.
what people usually mean when they think about that. I don't know if they're talking about when they say that, because there are different surgeries, the phalloplasty and then the metoidoplasty. Metoidoplasty is fully like functional. There's no outside. You don't need to pump anything. You don't insert any rods.
That's the one I was talking about in part 1, about how you just rearrange what you already got going and make it look different.
Yeah, you take testosterone enhanced genitals and you basically take it out of hiding, if you will. So, and make it look more in the traditional, like, I don't know, male genitals.
Yeah. And so they're, like, you were showing me pictures after dinner. After dinner, this is our dinner conversation at our house, right? Awesome. About, like, pictures of that like, looked good. Like, it didn't look bad. It didn't look gross.
It just looks like goods.
And then another thing we were talking about as far as, like, how these things look, like, it's not, I'm a big proponent of this, and so is Drew, like, it's its own thing. Like, trans goods are their own category of, like, genital reality, right? So, like, it's not gonna look...
Not that everyone experiences them that way.
Right.
It's just like,
you don't have to experience... You don't experience it that way, and everybody's different. I know all that, but,
sure,
like...
I don't think about them that way.
It doesn't, like... It's not gonna look like... Just like what you think or what you open up your biology textbook in 5th grade or whatever and learn in health class. This is what a male looks like and this is what a female looks like or whatever. It's not going to look like either of those pictures. It's going to be its own thing, and that's okay. And better yet, that can even be sexy and attractive and wonderful. And
sure.
like,
There's some people who think
it's its own thing. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. And people find those genitals appealing or whatever. So... Right, that we had a point with that, I think. And then
that there's just not enough information about lower surgery, and mostly what circulates is that they're not effective and that you don't have sensation. And I have had some closer friends get lower surgery, and that is not, that's not their experience at all.
Yeah.
So therefore, I think it would be great if more information was circulating that was truthful about.
So you want to propose that you can have bottom surgery that is functional and does look good and
feels good
and operates in a well happening manner, and that it's not always this like really horrible bad situation that you might like have the narrative, or that's usually what you hear. And then now we only have 2 minutes to talk about like dysphoria language. But this was something that, like, when we kind of, like, got to know each other and started dating, like, I thought was really interesting about him because I hadn't met anybody that was like this. But, like, you hear the typical language of dysphoria of, like, trans guys or trans people. I hate my body. I hate just, like, really being very, like, dysphoria, like, what it means. Like, hating their body and having to have surgery because they can't look in the mirror or they can't operate in society because of how, like, upsetting their body makes them. And what I really, like, found interesting about Drew's, like, trans narrative, if you will, was that you didn't really feel that way. It wasn't like, oh my god, I hate myself, I'm going to kill myself if I can't have surgery because I have tits and they need to go. It was just...
I think that, I definitely I wanted it really bad. And then once I got really set on it, I did experience a lot of anxiety about not being able to get it. Because this was it was the way I decided that's what I wanted. So
right, but like that you can want surgery, top or bottom surgery, and it can be just because that's what you want, that's what you prefer, that's something that you want in life, not because you hate your body.
Sure, there's people who their main reason for getting lower surgery is so they can pee standing up without any kind of device.
Yeah.
Some people it's because, like, I have a friend who's gay identified. He thinks that his male lovers, whatever, would be able to relate to his genitals more if he had lower surgery. He doesn't really mind what he's got going on right now, but he thinks he would like that better.
So we just wanted to kind of put out there that there's a lot of different reasons why you can want surgery, and for everybody it's different. So now that's 10 more minutes. Lots of video this week. Okay, bye.
Woo.